Hello and welcome back to Sons of the Forest. We're doing something a little bit different today. I want to make a log collection system, an automatic log collection system. And you see we're starting work on it up here. I've condensed about 4 or 5 hours worth of footage. You gotta make sure you keep Kelvin in line. Don't let the workers think they're the boss. You gotta slap them around a little bit. I've condensed about 4 or 5 hours worth of footage down into less than 10 minutes and thrown a voiceover over it. So if it's a little bit crusty, a little bit janky, I apologize. I've never done a building tutorial before. I'll try to improve on it as we do more of these projects. And here we're getting ready for it. The idea is I want to build a house, my main base, on top of that pond in my cannibal camp that I've taken over. We need to wait for it to freeze, which is winter right here, but the water hasn't quite froze, so I'm going to walk down to the lake and make sure that's froze. By the time I walk back, it will be froze. So it's a real hassle to carry logs across water, and you can't build on water, so we need it to freeze. But we're not going to have this project done by the time the water thaws, so I need this log collection system. The other reason I want to build this is I am having trouble with OBS crashing. The CPU between the game and OBS, sometimes OBS will jam up and corrupt the recording before I can do anything about it, so I end up losing a lot of logs and a lot of time. So it's just going to be a lot easier for me to make a space where I can funnel logs into, and then if something happens when I reload my save, I don't lose all my logs. So right here we're making the foundation of the house. Once we get this floor done, it doesn't matter if the water thaws or not, we can continue to build on here. It's not going to go anywhere. And this right here is where we're going to put the log collection system. I want to get the floor in so we can build off that and not have to worry about anything. I have to come in and put in stuff later. This is the first thing we're going to build. Now on each corner of the log collection area, we're going to put a log going vertically, but we don't want full logs. We're going to have to cut these down into halves. We can fit a log storage box under a half log. It doesn't go under the cross beam, but it goes underneath a half log floor. So once we get all these in, we're going to go through and cut them down, and then we'll start working our way up. The other reason I want half logs specifically is on the back wall. I can leave the bracing intact and still put a ceiling in at a full log. 2 half logs is going to be full logs, so we can tie the roof in on the back. Now this isn't going to be a permanent structure. I'm probably going to gut this once we're done with it and turn the log collection system into a back porch, but we're going to need this for quite some time, so it's going to be around for a while. It doesn't have to look necessarily pretty. So as you can see here, every corner of the floor here we want to put a log in, and this particular one is going to be 2 wide and 4 long log wise. You could probably make it bigger, but I think this works pretty good. It basically makes 3 segments where you can bring and send logs to. And look at that, it's snack time. Thank you, Virginia. I appreciate that. So here we're putting the bracing in. We don't want to make a square. We just want them going parallel to each other. And then we're going to put the log, the log storage things in line on the bottom, and then we're going to go across on the back. You'll see here in a minute. So we want to put these vertical logs back here and then cut them down to size, more half logs. This is the spot right here we're going to tie into the house eventually. And in the middle, right here, I'm thinking that slope logs on the front will help shoot the logs from the zip line up into the log collection system easier. That turned out to not be the case. Now here is where we're putting in planks. This is what's going to... You only need one of these to put a log storage box on top of. And here in front, we kind of want this plank to be, so there's 4 spots. We want the plank to be in the second closest spot to the back plank. So on the floor, we're going long ways in between the bracing, just like this. It's going to be real hard to see because it's white on white, but we want it going long ways on the floor like this. It's a little bit finicky to get in there, and because it's winter, it's hard to see, but we want them going long ways like that on all the ones on the bottom, and we should be able to fit 16 total in here, which is going to give us space for 96 logs. Some of them are a little bit janky. You got to play with it a little bit. Sometimes it's easier to get in there on the floor, and you do not want to put the sticks in before you have all these done, or you're probably going to get stuck. As you can see here, I had to take the plank out to fiddle with that one, and this one I got down on the floor and put it in. Ones on the front are quite a bit easier. You can just stand back and put them in like this, get them nice and close, nice and compact, and just do that all the way across the bottom. You should have 4 going long ways in between the bracing on the bottom. On top, on the back wall, you don't want them going in line. You want to turn them the opposite way to where they're going like in this configuration here. So this way the logs won't shoot out and go through the build. They're going to get stopped by these. If they're full, they'll bounce down in between our little holes here and get sucked down to the bottom. If it's not full, then obviously it'll catch. And the spacing's a little bit off, so this last one on the end on top had to hang over a little bit. But it's a temporary build, so it doesn't have to look pretty. Now the ones in front on top are going to go the same direction the ones on the bottom are. You want them long ways like this. And then we put 4 more in here, and that gets us our 16 for our 96 logs. So this can hold a butt ton of logs. And now it's stick time. We're going to go ahead and stock up on sticks. Sticks, we are going to have a lot of sticks for this, so Kelvin needs to be doing overtime on the stick collection for you. Go and slap all that in. And speaking of Kelvin, this is a death trap for him. We need to put some bracing on the back, so we won't go in there, punish him for trespassing, and then go ahead and put up some cross beams on the back. This will not interfere with you getting logs out of there. You can get logs out from every, as a matter of fact, you see how it just sucked that log up right there? It's already working. So you can get your logs out of all 4 sides. This is footage of me testing right here. I had to cut a lot of my test footage because it's very boring, but you can see it's bouncing down, and that's too high how I have it right here. So there's a better way to put your zip lines, but this was a couple of my first tests. This is where I figured out where the sweet spot is. You want it on the corner of those half logs that aren't in the middle, that are in the middle I should say, not in the back, and you see they bounce off and go straight in there. It's perfect. Now the way I say it does it in 3 sections is if you do that in the middle, it won't reach the ones on the end. So I put 3 more zip lines in there. Here we are finishing the floor on the back, and pulling out the logs from the storage system to give her another test. And this is actually how it's supposed to go. And these zip lines are way too close together right here. Later on I spread them out because it's kind of finicky when you want them to go down a certain lane. You really got to aim. So if you spread them out a little bit, it'll be a lot easier. And it does work coming in from the side as well, but they get hung up a little bit. This right here is the optimal system to go straight on, and we can go up as far up the mountain with this as the zip line will allow us, and it'll grab almost every one of those logs. And even when it misses, oh, here's something cool. If you do want to rearrange some stuff, you can just spam A or whatever it is on your keyboard, and it'll get pulled out of the top storage stick thing and drop down to the bottom. And here it is completely emptied out. You can see we did the whole floor back there, which was a ton of logs. So this ought to give you a better idea how it looks without being all snowy and horrible. And it's pretty clean. It gets almost every one of the logs, but it's not too much trouble to get in there and unjam stuff if you need to. And here it is all the way full with our 96 logs. So yeah, that's about it. I know this is kind of crusty. Like I say, this is my first building tutorial, so if I glossed over something that you'd like more detailed explanation on, please let me know. I'd be happy to cover it. If you've seen this video on Reddit, please give me an upvote. It helps get my videos in front of more people and help the channel grow a little bit. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what if anybody else has made an automatic log collection system. Let me know. I'd like to see what other versions are out there. Let me know how you guys use it. Virginia says subscribe with a like, and yeah, with all that being said, I think we're going to call it here. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed.